Hello, I'm Luca De Giglio, and this is the Web3 in Travel podcast, where you can learn about crypto, blockchain, and how the new internet will change travel. In the previous episode, I did a reaction to a Focusrite panel where there were three interesting companies. And yesterday I was reading a book. I'm almost done with this. It's a book from Simone Puorto, as an Italian consultant, writer, journalist, specializing in the metaverse side of travel. And he mentioned this company called Arise. And then for a moment I thought, I heard this name before. Maybe I read it in his previous chapter where he was talking about blockchain, but actually not. It turns out this is the same company which was on the stage in the panel in the last episode. And on stage there was the CEO, Nadim El Manawi. So, okay, 2 times into reputable places, basically. And reading in the book about it, I thought, okay, this seems something really interesting. So I decided to do an analysis. I'm pretty excited about this one. This seems to be something, finally something real, something which is, high level and working, etc. Yeah, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So before I start, let me remind this again. When I do an analysis, especially of a project of this size, it's not possible for me in 1 hour to give you an objective, view on it. What I'm doing here mostly is learning myself, and by learning, also sharing how I learn. It's just a first quick glance. In which I kind of share with you the way I analyze things, in order for you to acquire, if you want it, to acquire the tools and the strategies to analyze Web3 travel projects yourself. And I need to make sure that this is clear. It doesn't mean in any way that my analysis is correct. Even if I spent 20 hours or 20 days on a single project analyzing it, I could still be wrong. And I've been often wrong in the past. So take this as and I said this before, but it's really important. Take this as a way for you to see the way I think about Web3 in travel projects, see what I'm looking at. So the parameters, the important things, which maybe are not always obvious, and then build your own way to analyze Web3 in travel projects, maybe better than mine. I recently kind of discovered that many listeners are people at a very high level in the travel industry who probably have a much better understanding of the travel industry itself, and also they have capabilities in analyzing stuff much better than me. So the only way I'm sharing this is because I went pretty deep into blockchain technology, and I've been in it for a while. But again, don't see this as don't come back to this podcast saying or hoping that I analyze the project so you can decide if it's good or it's bad. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just sharing with you the way I look at things, but take it from here and build your own way to do that. And in this specific case of Arise, it's a very complex project. Now, what have I learned so far about them? But not much. I just rewatched that panel, the parts in which Nadim speaks. I read yesterday this book, so there were a few pages about that, and that's it. So now I'm going to go to the website, and as I go through the website, I'm going to read and comment. At the end of it, we will have a slight idea. We will have the basic idea of what they do, form some opinions, and take it from there. Probably follow this project in the following years and see where it goes. It's always good to know, to analyze the project early on, even if you have the feeling this is not a new project, and then see how they progress. The trend is also very important, right? Anyway, let's go and see their website, Arise.Travel. We build distribution technology that removes the need for intermediaries between hotels and travel sellers, helping hospitality providers improve their margins, distribution capabilities, and data security. And I think I understand this because he explained it a bit more in a more simple way at the panel, basically saying we have a blockchain or distributed ledger technology, we'll see that later, where people can go and see the truth. I suppose we can say like, okay, there's a flight booking, this person has booked it, so it's the number of seats are 200, whatever, without having to rely on third parties, basically because they can look at the blockchain, which is the basic assumption of the basic role of blockchains, which say instead of, asking a company to keep track of this, we ask the blockchain. And actually the situation today in the travel industry, there's not one company doing that. There are several companies doing that, and it's not that easy probably to get access. Let's stay in the field I know, which is reservations, bookings, in mostly vacation rentals, but hotels, etc. So how do you know if a specific hotel has a free room in a specific date? Well, you can go on their website and you will see it, or you can go on an OTA and you will see it, but there seem not to be, I'm pretty sure there is not a central database where I can simply ask. So somebody who knows the truth all the time, for sure. You always have to ask different people, like every different hotel, I have to ask a different hotel. If I go on an OTA and it's not available, it doesn't mean it's not available. It's not available on the OTA. So let's say the ultimate source of truth is probably the hotel in that case. But then I have to ask every single hotel differently, with different API, or maybe some don't have APIs, etc. So what if we had a central database where we know everything? And that's basically what a blockchain can be. I see central and I'll say centralized. Central means one which knows everything. I suppose it's this, but we will see if I'm correct. Then there's a video. Let's have a look. It's just 1:45. I'll look at it and tell you what they say. All right, so the video is really clear and very good. Basically, it says today, hotels have information about their availability and, I suppose price and everything else. And they have to send this data to all the travelers in the world, millions of people. But there's no technology for that. There's no way to give customers, guests, a direct access to this information. So hotels pay intermediaries to do that. And intermediaries, they cost a lot of money, and they kind of detach the hotel from the guest, creating higher prices and less profitability, and also worse service, I suppose, for stuff like rate leakage and whatever. So let's go ahead. Let me see. All right, they make a bit clearer something which wasn't clear to me when I was saying it, why hotels can't simply give access directly to everybody. It seems to be a data availability problem, a bandwidth problem, like a hotel. That's a bit strange for me. That's an interesting part, but the hotel apparently has trouble putting online this information, because maybe there's too many requests, etc., etc. And the question arises is, why don't they use like systems like AWS? Maybe it's just too technical. I don't know. But anyway, so what Arise here is saying, they make a copy of this data and they make it available, a bit like these intermediaries do. But I guess they're gonna say now, let me see if I guess it, that it's being on the blockchain technology, it's more like an open thing, and it has much lower cost. But let's see. I was just trying to guess. All right, the rest of the video kind of doesn't add much on it. It just reiterates some points. One thing I read yesterday in Simone's book is cache, the cache data, where these intermediaries, they cache the data, they make it very fast to be accessed fast. And then the problem is that sometimes the cache data is not updated, so you got this rate leakage where Now, the hotel defines a certain price and it wants that price to be everywhere, and sometimes a different price appears somewhere else because the cache is not updated. So very technical, but it kind of shows there's limits in this approach of like using intermediaries. And here they say this data is going to be fully available in real time to everyone. So it seems to me we could say that Arise is basically using better technology, so a new technology which didn't exist 10 years ago or 50 years ago when these intermediaries were started. And this technology is the blockchain / distributed ledger technology, which is very good for data availability in real time, apparently. So, well, that's kind of the idea. We have a certain way to distribute data in the world. A new technology arises, pun not intended, and we use it, while everybody else is not using it because they are stuck in their legacy systems. And this is better, that's why you should use it. That's it. So it's cheaper, faster, etc. Let's go ahead with the web page. So another paragraph, distribution powered by hotels. That's the title. And then they say, our peer-to-peer technology extends existing hotel reservation systems, making them scalable and able to directly support the global load of travelers searching for hotel rooms in real time. This removes the need for GDS, switches, wholesalers, and affiliate networks that sit between hotels and travel sellers today. Okay, it kind of confirms there's a problem with data availability. There's too much load, like there would be too many people requesting information from the hotel directly, which doesn't have a strong enough server. And these are the customers, so the guests, and these are also the travel sellers, because there's many people selling travel for the hotel, or basically selling travel and adding the hotel into this. And there's a lot of data which one single hotel cannot manage because, well, hotels are not technological companies, so somebody has to help them. And the people who help them today are legacy systems, which are very expensive, and there's no incentive for any existing system which is making a lot of money with old tech to change, right? So you need new companies to come in the market and say, well, why are we still using these old computers? Let's use new computers. Of course, I'm saying computers, but here is technology, right? Why are you using paper? We can use the internet. Why are you using Web 2? You can use Web 3. So why are you using different databases when you can use one central distributed ledger? I suppose that's it. Let's go ahead with the next paragraph. Title, The Modern Approach to Travel Distribution. So 3 sub-paragraphs. One is higher margins. And it says, our technology makes it possible for travel sellers to pull ARA data. I don't know what it is. Let me check. Well, I first went to a search engine. I don't use Google. I use DuckDuckGo. And then I said, why am I asking this to a search engine? Why I don't ask to the OpenAI chat, which you may have heard of? And I asked, what is ARI data in travel? And the answer is ARI data in travel refers to data collected by the Airline Reporting Corporation, ARC, that provides information on various aspects of the airline industry. This data is typically used by airlines, travel agencies, and other industry stakeholders to make informed decisions about their operations and to improve their performance. Some examples of ARI data, I don't know if I pronounce this correctly, in travel include ticket sales data, fare data, and passenger data. This data is often used to analyze trends and patterns in the industry and to identify opportunities for growth and improvement. Well, okay, basically it means, again, they are saying it makes it possible for travel sellers to pull this data directly from hotel systems. So again, instead of asking the intermediaries, you ask the blockchain. Second paragraph, unmatched capabilities. We help hotels sell their inventory in new ways, bypassing the limited capabilities of traditional intermediaries. Hotels can create completely custom pricing logic that is distributed directly to travel sellers, enabling enabling new revenue opportunities and a better travel experience. Okay, since they don't have to go through intermediaries, they are more flexible. So, for instance, they can do a different custom pricing logic. I suppose that if you are a hotel and you're connected to some, let's say, call it data distributor or whatever they are called, you have to kind of stay within their limits and use the rules. While if you do this directly, you can do what you want. All right, then, third paragraph. First-class security and data privacy, or privacy if you're British. Our peer-to-peer technology keeps guest and booking data away from third parties' infrastructure, helping with data privacy regulation compliance and reducing the risk of data or data breaches. This is something we have to discuss a little bit, because if I tell you I put something on the blockchain, you have to assume this is transparent. Everybody can see it. Of course, I'm not going to put your name on the blockchain, but blockchains are open. Now, if they say there's the data privacy is protected, maybe they're not using open systems, maybe ZK snarks or whatever, or maybe just a distributed ledger which is not open. But yeah, well, when they say data privacy regulation compliance is GDPR and stuff like this, and reducing the risk of data breaches, you always have to assume. I don't know why this is not something which is clear to everyone by now. If you put something in a database, it's going to leak. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year. It is going to leak. So when they tell you, we keep your data safe, no, my data is online, my data is gone. I assume that maybe, there's going to be cases where in 50 years it's never been breached. At least that we know of, because once it's in a database, somebody's looking at it. That means the people working with it, for me, it's out there. So the only real security and privacy is when it's actually not there. And okay, again, ZK systems may solve that in the future. But anyway, we'll have a look. It may be very memorable looking at that later, how they can guarantee that. But yeah. Let's always assume that if you put something in, booking.com, that if you go in booking.com, you make a booking, you put your credit card, this credit card is accessible by the hotel, or even the small apartment owner who may have a list of credit cards of the customers from the last 10 years. And these credit cards could be in a text file or screenshot, I don't think we realize how transparent supposedly protected data is. And yeah, this is completely unrelated, but I think it's a good moment to talk about that. Credit cards payments versus cryptocurrency payments. And Nadim El Manawi, so the CEO of Arise, was actually hinting at that stable coins are probably a much better way to deal with payments. Why? Two main reasons here. Well, stablecoins are native money of the internet. They are built on top of the internet and they work seamlessly with the internet. Fiat money is pre-internet. It's been adapted to work on the internet and is a big, big mess. Think about one fact. When I do a payment with a cryptocurrency, what I'm doing is sharing my public key. So basically, when I want to receive the money, I say, that's my address, please send it to me. If I do the payment, I'm signing. So I'm proving that I have the private keys of those coins, but the private key stays with me. So it's private and public keys separation. Credit cards, on the other hand, are, here's my credit card number, date of expiry, and CVV, and you throw it around the internet, and it goes everywhere, and it ends up in various several places. You're giving your public key and your private key at the same time when you pay with a credit card. This wasn't meant to be for the internet, because this was something which was conceived in the 50s, more or less, but we're still using it. It's time we get out of this system. Now, the only reason when you use a credit card you feel safe is not because it's safe, it's because there's so much, it's so expensive to keep to pay. Basically, you pay for the insurance. So you're using a very unsafe system, and you pay a lot of money. You or the merchant, you pay a lot of money on every single transaction, so that the frauds are paid for in a way. Yeah, okay, that's unrelated, but I wanted to say that, cryptocurrency is internet money. Credit cards is pre-internet money. All right, let's go down in the website. So we have a couple of boxes. One is hotels, and you have a hotel, a line, the dollar moving towards, I suppose, the website where the hotel rooms are sold. So it says, own your distribution, higher margins, rate leakage prevention. Rate leakage, I was mentioning before, I think is connected to the cash. Basically, you are a hotel, you want your hotel to be sold for $100 everywhere, and then you find that somebody's selling for $80. You don't know why. You don't even know who these people are. So you basically, one saying which goes around the travel industry is that you don't own your price. All right, your price. The moment you set your price and you throw it in the wild in the internet, you lost control of the price. So again, higher margins, rate leakage prevention, advanced distribution capabilities, stronger data privacy security. It's more or less what they said already. On the other end, travel sellers. So the websites where you book your hotels and stuff. Title, grow your business. And the 4 bullet points, improved profitability, which is the same as higher margins. Better cash flow. I suppose you get the money faster because less people in the middle. Same as the other one, advanced booking capabilities, and then superior traveler experience. And that's the end of the page. Let's go on learn more stuff. So see how. At the beginning there was modern infrastructure for the travel industry. See how. I click it and it sends me to the video. Okay, so that's an internal link. Let's go at the end. Hotel, own your own distribution, learn more. There's a new page. We help hotels run their own distribution network without fees, markups, or heavy investment in IT, which is kind of what I was mentioning before. Why hotels are not able to simply put their data online and have people access it? I mean, there are cloud services which should be able to handle the traffic. I still don't have an answer for that because I don't know about this. But they are confirming that basically you can avoid the high fee markups or heavy investment in IT. So maybe putting this on the cloud probably requires some people who know what they're doing, and hotels are not, in general, not even able to do a proper website. I recently was trying to book something in London, and oh my God, the quality of website of hotels is still, it's been 20 years, guys. So there's something wrong definitely with let's put it this way. Hotels are not technological companies. They barely can do usable websites. Probably it's too much to ask them to make data availability efficient. So how hotels benefit? Okay, again, higher margins. Now they explain a bit more what they mean by these things, right? These are the 4 bullet points I mentioned before. So why higher margins? Connect directly with travel sellers and cut out intermediaries and I'm not going to read everything. If you remove the intermediaries, there's more money for everybody else. And then leverage the real-time synchronization of your ARI and pricing rules with travel sellers to increase your revenue. More flexibility on your pricing, you're going to make more money. Second part, rate leakage prevention. Our technology automatically prevents the undesirable onward distribution of your discount and net rates, blocking travel sellers from being able to undercut your hotel. Okay, I don't know how, but I know what. You have control on your pricing. Apparently, they have a way to do that. Advanced distribution capabilities. Sell the right room to the right guest at the right price by sharing more data points with your partners in real time while pushing your custom pricing logic to travel sellers instantly. Data security and privacy. Our peer-to-peer technology directly transfer reservation data from the travel seller to your system. Okay, removing intermediaries and keeping guest and booking data away from third-party databases. So why is it secure? Because it doesn't go in many people's hands. It stays between you and the travel seller, which probably means the travel seller, so it still goes around, but it's a direct connection, so that's why it's secure and private. Now, another section is transparent technology, transparent pricing. So 3 parts here. Simple connectivity. We connect to your channel manager, PMS, or CRS and work just like any other distribution channel. What is a channel manager? It's where you kind of say, put this room in those websites automatically. PMS is where you kind of put all your data, your pricing and the rules, etc., and then you push it to other websites. And CRS is where you keep the data of your customers. So we connect to your channel managers, PMS or CRS, and work just like any other distribution channel. So it doesn't ask you to change the way you work. It's just a new way to connect to the out market, to the wider market, I guess. Then, low risk. Arise runs in parallel to your existing connectivity. We won't disrupt your existing distribution channels. That's a very good point. You don't have to change everything. Just add this new thing, and then if you see it, if it works, you can kind of use it more, I suppose, something like that. And then, no contracts or transaction fees. We have no long-term contracts or transaction fees. We want to earn your business, which begs the question, how are they going to make money? And I'm sure we're going to find the answer somewhere else. So we've seen the hotel section. Let's see the travel seller section. And I'm excited to see the technology part, which seems very, very thick. So I don't know if you're going to be able to do that in one episode. Anyway, let's go to the travel sellers. Travel sellers, grow your business. We help travel sellers connect directly with hotels, improving booking profitability and travel experience. Okay, we heard that before. It doesn't hurt repeating things on a website at all. I'm not sarcastic. You have to repeat the main concept as many times as you can. People are not reading religiously as I'm reading right now. They're just scanning quickly, right? So how travel sellers benefit? Higher margins again. Okay, they're explaining the bullet points. I like this website. It's very, structured. There's not too much stuff, but it's very structured and they explain enough. And then I suppose they send you to the developer section if you really want to know more, but very clean website, which means clean thinking, which means probably clean technology in a way. So higher margins. Connect directly with hotels and access their best rates, availability, and content information in real time. So what is content information? Well, it could be that, a hotel builds a new swimming pool, and by the time you as a travel seller get that information, maybe it takes a long time. Maybe you're still looking at cached data. Maybe the people who are selling you this information are not updated. Who knows? Hotels are faster. If you go directly, are faster. Okay, increase your margins by cutting out distribution intermediaries. Okay, better cash flow. We didn't know what that meant before, so let's see. Get paid what you are owed automatically, quickly and accurately. Accurately. Okay. Booking data synchronizes consistently with hotels, even following modifications or cancellations, making commission, reconciliation, and payment a breeze. I suppose that if you are a travel seller and you sell a room, it's very hard to get the money, or it requires a lot of paperwork. I know this word reconciliation, which is basically, let's check that the numbers I have correspond with the number you have, and blah, blah, blah. So I suppose there's a lot of kind of work to get that money. And when with Arise we have a centralized system which is automatic, this could be much better and bring your money in faster and with less work. Advanced booking capabilities. We heard this a few times before. Sell the right room to the right guest at the right price by sharing more data points with hotels in real time and supporting advanced pricing strategies to maximize revenue and increase conversion. Yeah, I don't know. The more you know, the better you can serve the customer, I suppose. Superior traveler experience. Deliver a unique experience to each traveler by accessing and synchronizing data points from hotels from relevant partners in real time throughout the traveler's journey. So whatever. So basically more data, more fresher data allows you to give a better experience to to your customers. I don't know if this is related, but sometimes you make a search on a meta search like kayak, you see a certain price, and when you click in and go to book, the price is not there anymore. Stuff like this, probably. Okay. The other part is basically the same. I think we are done with the front end of the website. Let's go into technology developers. Okay, that's what I had seen last time. I think I mentioned it in the episode. There's this developers.arise.travel, which is pretty thick, a lot of stuff. Let's see. Let's start, and then we'll see if we can do it in one episode. Okay, welcome to the Arise network documentation. We will introduce our network architecture, give examples of how to use GraphQL interface, and provide step-by-step instructions to make your first transaction on our test network. Let's start with asking our AI, what is GraphQL? GraphQL is a query language for APIs. All right, so it's stuff for APIs that was developed by Facebook. Provides a more flexible and efficient alternative to traditional REST APIs. In GraphQL API, the client specifies the exact data it needs from the server in a single request. Okay, I won't read everything. Basically, it's new technology. You are a new company, you can go straight for the best new technology. You are an old company, which has been around for 40 years, and changing from your previous system to the new system maybe is just too much. Maybe you are just, happy. Maybe you're fat. Maybe you don't need to make the effort. Maybe you can't make the effort because you're stuck in your legacy code. So you open your flank to the enemy, the new guy who comes in and makes it better. Anyway, so that's what they're using, GraphQL. Now, about the Rise, they kind of explained already. Let's go to the network. Our network is composed of connected nodes, all running the same software. It has no central servers or single points of failure. So, interesting. It's kind of like a blockchain or distributed ledger technology. So, again, there are nodes. We will talk about nodes in the future. All running the same software, right? Kind of like a blockchain. We use distributed ledger technology, to build a shared, transparent database that multiple parties can read from and write at the same time. Why do you call it distributed ledger technology and not blockchain? Because, so I'm adding this right now, and then I keep reading. Our network is private and permissioned, meaning every connected node is linked to a known identity in the real world. New nodes need to be granted permission by the network for read and write access. A way to see this is blockchains are the internet, and distributed ledger technology, DLT, is the intranet. Private and permissioned. You can't be a node if they don't allow you, and you cannot read stuff if you're not allowed. We've built a distributed application on top of this shared database that can use the stored ARI, guest and booking information to perform complex queries or to enforce detailed booking rules. Our network supports 500 plus TPS. This is transactions per second. This is fast compared to Bitcoin. This is fast compared to Ethereum layer 1. This is slower than Ethereum layer 2s, just to give you a reference here. So it supports 500 TPS per second and does not suffer the same scaling issues as a centralized service would under heavy query load. The network is currently validating and confirming bookings transactions within 3 seconds of the submission. Okay, let's comment a little bit here. Let me finish it, then we're going to comment. Sensitive data is automatically stored in full compliance with GDPR, and all traffic sent between nodes is encrypted. Each node provides a local cache of all hotel data and business logic that can perform complex open-ended queries. Connectivity to other hotel applications on the network is built into the protocol. Okay, let's comment a few things here. This is really interesting. First of all, no blockchain but private. What are the trade-offs when you go, you don't have a blockchain, an open blockchain, but you have a closed system? Closed systems are faster, because all the nodes belong to you. They are safer in a way. At least they know who the nodes are. You cannot have adversarial nodes. Nodes can probably, it's harder to attack them because you don't have access to them, I suppose, even if they are online. The problem here is that if Arise becomes the next big thing, like it completely replaces the old systems, which are decentralized in a way. And that's something I was thinking the other day, and I went like, oh my God, that's interesting. This is a centralized system. There's, I don't know how many nodes, they don't say. Let's say there's 50 nodes, all permissioned. It means there's one entity, I suppose it's Arise, saying you can be a node, you cannot be a node. It also means, it doesn't only mean, can you get in, yes or no? It also means you get out if you did something wrong or whatever. So there is one person or one company or one board which says you can be part of this or not. That's fine. It's a, suppose, I don't know yet numbers here, check them later, it's a small company which is doing a great service, right? Distributed database. More resilient than maybe centralized databases. I don't know. Can MySQL do that better? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, that's the interesting part. They say they are the centralized network, distributed network. And they compare this to a centralized network, which is the all the distributors we have today. But in fact, in a situation where Arise becomes the thing, the boss, everybody goes to Arise because it's a better technology. It's faster, resilient, etc. And nobody uses these distributed systems anymore. These distributors, these intermediaries. You go from a decentralized, kind of decentralized situation, which there are many distributors. You know, if one of them shuts down, the other ones continue, maybe somebody else comes in, to a very centralized one. Yes, there's 10 nodes, 50 nodes, but it's everything controlled by one. And at that point, the power shifts to them. They become the new boss and they do what they want. Yeah, of course, they can say that, you know, they're cheaper, etc. But if you're a company and your duty is to make a profit for your shareholders, explain me how 10 years from now, when everybody's going to use Arise in the world, you're not going to charge more, you're not going to decide who gets in, you're not going to kind of, I don't want to use the word abuse because that wouldn't be abusing, but like make choices based on profitability of your company, which is your duty, by the way. You can't do things for the public goods here. You have to do things for your company. So how do they get out of this? First of all, why would they start like this? Well, because it's much easier and it's probably better for this use case. How would they get out of this? Well, an open network. So maybe they're going to have to migrate on an open blockchain. I don't know. What I'm trying to point out here is closed blockchains or distributed ledger technology, which is permissioned and private, is not the blockchain. It's not blockchain technology. It has certain, it's inspired by blockchain technology, probably, maybe not, but it shares some properties, which is a bunch of computers called nodes, which have the same software and the same content, the same data, and they are synchronized. But the similarities end there. And they are as stark as intranet and internet. And if you remember who won, the intranet or the internet, which one is more powerful? Which one really changed things? It's been the internet. So my bet is always on the internet. Now, this is speculation on my part. It's like, okay, I'm ideologically more for open stuff than closed stuff. This may very well be a success in the future. It may need to update something if they become too successful in a way. And then what happens if another company comes and does the same thing? And then some hotels will use Arise and some hotels will use this one. And then at the end, we're going to have like 10 like this. And then travel sellers have to go through 10 different of them. You know, like they have to connect to 10 of them. Are we going back to a similar situation as today? And that's a question just came to my mind. I don't have an answer. The other thing I wanted to discuss, well, that's more a kind of a technical question. They say each node provides a local cache. So if it's a cache, is it updated? I suppose so. Maybe it's a local cache which is updated very often, but that's an interesting thing. So it would be interesting, going back to the permission and private part of this project, it would be interesting to ask ourselves, would something like this, if it is indeed successful and if it is indeed solving the problems it says it solves, would it make sense to have this on an actually real blockchain? And we have to think about it. I don't have an answer right now. But would existing blockchains be ready for that kind of stuff? I think so. I think we're there. You could launch something like this on maybe a layer 2 or a Polygon or maybe another blockchain, and the TPS is there. The transaction per second is there. The security is there. The privacy of data is not there yet. Maybe we may have to wait for ZK's NARCs, ZK technology. I use these terms a bit in the wrong way. ZK's NARCs, ZK Starks, ZK, zero knowledge proof stuff, which is the big thing coming to blockchains. And that could provide even more privacy, because the privacy they promise here is the data goes from the hotel to the seller and vice versa, and nobody's in the middle. With ZK, the data is not even there. I mean, doesn't travel. The data is not on the road between the two of them. And I explained this in a different episode, so check that out if you want to know more. Okay, in the same page, they have identity and access. Access on the network is tied to the identity used to sign the transaction sent from each node. Each identity has a corresponding public-private key pair that is signed by a certificate authority on the network. These identities are linked to the specific property or partner records at the time of creation. Any outside request for data or any transaction proposal without a valid signature will be rejected by the network, which is basically what is said in the panel. Anybody who's playing into this has been identified, so you know if the hotel is actually that hotel and that travel seller is that travel seller. Outside people can't deal with it, can't interact with it. Okay, the rest of the document goes into the how to connect, how to make a test connection, how to use the system. We won't go there right now. Let me just check a bit more about the company itself. Okay, so I'm looking at crunchbase.com, Arise.Travel, San Francisco. So maybe this is a Silicon Valley company. Total funding amount $4.7 million with 6 investors and three profiles. Okay, so this is kind of the size of the company, founded in 2018. So founded, at the end probably of this big boom we had in 2017. People were raising money, they raised money, and they started working on this. They've been working this for 4 years now. I would like to see what they are actually doing. I mean, who's using this system? Let me see if I can find that. So I found an interview from January this year. 26th of January 2022, where there's an interview with Nadim El-Manawi. And the question is, who was your first customer? And the answer is one large player in the corporate travel space. We can't name the company yet. Is taking a chance working with us in order to solve some of the problems and inefficiencies they face today. Okay, so that's one thing. Some big, large player in the corporate travel space is taking a chance working with us. So they're working with them, but we don't know who. Well, in the same article, they say that Arise.Travel is an early stage startup, so that most hoteliers haven't heard of today. So this plus the answer that they have this one corporate customer tells me that basically this is not yet a widely used product. Not that they have to be. I mean, these things take time. I just was trying to find out, and it is not widely used yet. Okay, so we know that now. What else? reading that article, there's, the perspective on the article is kind of Arise.Travel will help, go around the OTAs, which is not what they're pushing on their website, but that's another possible reading. Now, the thing is, Arise.Travel seems to me more like a technology which is an upgrade for the travel industry. Use the technology we have today, don't use old technology. And it does make sense, 100%. Is this enough to solve the OTA problem? Of course, it's not enough, because the OTA is not about only data availability or prices. Sometimes you pay 10% less in a hotel, you still go through to the OTA. Why? Trust. You trust the brand and you feel protected. Arise.Travel here is not working on that. It's not what they are proposing. It's not what they are supposed to do. So this is another piece of the puzzle to create an infrastructure which allows to finally go around the OTAs. That they are not pretending to do that. They are to solve the trust issue, to be an OTA, of course. It's just infrastructure. And it's private and permissioned infrastructure. Now, okay, very, very interesting. We will learn a lot from how Arise goes ahead in the next years, because they are saying, again, I'm repeating this, there's new technology, let's use it, but they're not going as far as saying, let's use open blockchains for the reasons they explained. And from the way they're gonna, how the market is going to react to them, we will see if there is product market fit for these kind of things. What do I mean by that? It doesn't really matter if they are permissioned or not at the moment. Actually, it's better that they are private and permissioned. Why? Because first we have to see if the product is actually useful, if hotels actually want to use this, if travel sellers actually prefer to have a system like this rather than what they have now. Then if they have it, we're gonna have to look and say, okay, do we want this to be permissioned? Do we want this to be permissionless? But that's a question for later. I don't see hotels not using it because it's permissioned. Hotels don't really think about that, right? So it's very good that we found Arise. It's very good that they exist, so we can all learn if this is what the market wants. Okay, I think we're done. As usual, open invitation to the founders if they want to come on the podcast and say it from their perspective, and maybe comment on the comments I've done, maybe teach me a bit more about that, and generally having a nice open discussion about what they're doing. All right, this is the end of today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. For more insights on Web3, follow me on Twitter at tripluca, TRIPLUCA, and see you next time.